This video is brought to you by Next Phase Rugby, which is an app that allows high school rugby players to connect with college rugby programs around the country. Those programs can be school supported, club, all kinds of different ones. 450 are already on the app, and thousands of collegiate hopefuls are also on the app. Download the app if you're a college, or if you are a high school player looking for a college, go to nextphaserugby.com. There's a discount code for the premium level for high school players at the bottom of the screen, and good luck with your college search. As we get into the backs, scrum half is not a deep position in my opinion. I really only have four guys to talk about. Dayton Branford out of Southern Nazarene is interesting to me because he's the oldest player in the draft. He's 26 years old, went on LDS mission, which is why he's older, and that's can be tough if you're making a big jump and there's time. But at the same time, you can also look at someone at their maturity and maybe they're settled and he's actually married, and so you look at that situation and you might go for a player like that to say this is somebody who maybe we can work with on a maturity level. So anyway, oldest player is a scrum half. Aiden Smith, who is, I'm going to talk about him more, I guess, at wing, because he lists himself as a wing, but his secondary position is scrum half. Not a big guy, very elusive, knows how to play scrum half, which he played for Trumbull High School, which is the program his father coaches. So understands the game, grew up with the game. I think it's important when you take a Nate Augsburger type, Augsburger who played a lot of scrum half as a professional, but on the Eagles level was usually playing wing, even then he could be a backup scrum half. So anyway, I mentioned him. The two guys that you really should think about, one is Remy Thompson. And Thompson, I believe, has the time in country. That's something I got to confirm completely. It's important that he has the time. He's English, does not qualify for the U.S. Yet. Great athlete, volleyball player. Great leader, captained Notre Dame College to their championship before they switched and became Walsh down here, like swords up right here. Can we see that? Yeah, there we go. And helped their transition there. I've seen him play a number of times. I'm very impressed with him as a scrum half, as a runner, as a consistent passer, as certainly somebody who understands when and how to execute a quick tap and punish teams, things like that. So I really hope he finds a place. You need that visa thing. We know what's going on with the visa. That's who's willing to sign a visa or pay for it and sponsor that visa. And then Hunter Modlin out of St. Mary's. Terrific player, super fit. Fitness is easy to forget at scrum half. You really need to be one of the fittest, if not the fittest player on the team. You got to get to all those rucks. We've changed the game so much in terms of, in the old days, where like a flanker would have to be following, going ruck to ruck to ruck, going all over the field. And you don't really have to do that anymore, but scrum half still does. Good pass, very consistent pass, good box kick, and also kicks from the tee, a goal kicker. So that's an added skill that a team will like. I really rate Hunter Model, and I think he has a good chance maybe going in the first round. It's also brought to you by USA Rugby Foundation, which is an organization that supports grassroots rugby around the country, and your donation can help build this great game of ours. Fly half, also thin. And we're thin mostly because of foreigner spots. We don't have a lot of Americans. I've talked about this, right, with Major League Rugby. Like the Eagles, not enough American-born fly halves playing for the Eagles. The last guy who did it for any length of time was Will Holder. And before that, it was Matt Sherman. You just don't have a lot of them, and then you go down to Major League Rugby in the same sort of situation. How are we going to get them on the Eagles if they're not playing in Major League Rugby? How are you going to get them in Major League Rugby if you're not getting them in college rugby? And a lot of colleges use foreign-born number 10s. So there are several guys on there. You say, wow, he's a really good player. Welton Cherambira, fantastic player. Very exciting. I don't see him as a professional number 10 just because of his running ability. I kind of see him as a sevens player. However, got some more time at St. Thomas. I'm not sure it's time for him to be drafted, frankly. And his future might be sort of in a different direction. Super thrilling player, though. I'd love to have him on there. German Rossi out of AIC. Actually, kind of a fly half slash center combo. But again, not a USA guy. Will need a visa. And he's battling up against some other guys. So, how's his kicking? He's great running, distributing. Fly half kicking. Kicking's going to be very important. Kicking guy who's terrific kicking, Jack Tregoning, really good from the tee out of Central Washington, by the way, and then from the boot. Originally Welsh, again, needs a visa. A very good player in terms of, he was a big part of everything good that happened for Central Washington this year, which of course I did with things going bad because of the school pulling funding, but they got a Schultz Award winner in their back line, and Tregoning is a big part of that. So a great player. Again, visa. Keelan Coyle was terrific for St. Bonaventure for 4 years and then did his graduate work at South Florida and just sort of turned that team around. He had made big impact for them. Same issue, right? So he's probably as complete in that he's good in all of those things. He can run, he can pass, he can kick on the run, he can kick for distance, he can kick for goal. All of those things are, great for him to do. Again, the foreigner situation. So, I think it leaves us with two guys. One lists himself as a fullback, very skilled, but qualifies for the U.S. through parentage, has the time, so he may need a year of visa, maybe, and that's Bastian Brunello. And what helps him, of course, is he's played for USA under 23s and been selected as an All-American out of Mount St. Mary's. So these are all things that help him get that visa. German, French, but also American. And I like him as a fly half over being a fullback, simply because I think he runs and does the vision and distributes well. He's got a very nice boot. Kind of a precise boot, but he does not have a big hoofer. That's okay. And then the other guy is Alex Park out of Texas A&M. Grew up in the United States. Yes, get ready. Grew up in Houston. Is an American kid. Was at MLR Rising last year and played very well in, again, a situation where it's very difficult to break in and play some number 10 time. Can pass. Can run the offense, communication skills, very good, very smart guy. Remember, sometimes, fly half is, you're sitting back behind the pods and just sort of directing traffic and watching. And you might watch some of the top fly halves and maybe the ball goes through their hands a lot and maybe it doesn't. Maybe the game goes through their brain a lot. Park, I would really like to see Park get some time and get an opportunity. Let's put it that way. A&M, kind of an iffy season last year, not in terms of performance, it was sort of, but their competition was in flux, and I would have liked them to see. I would have liked to have seen them play tougher games. However, I think would be pretty cool to see Alex Park get some time. This video is also brought to you by Panther Rugby Academy, providing elite playing and training opportunities for players throughout the South and a more extended version of the South. Panther Rugby Academy, check them out. Now, center, that's kind of a big position. So I've been working off my notes. I'm going to have to hold my notes in front of me because there are so many players. Again, though, here's the problem, is the foreigner situation. And, again, don't want to get political, but I have to say that if you're in an NCR-only team, that means you didn't buy or pay for USA Rugby dues. Then when did your clock start? The argument is your clock starts now. Your clock didn't work. And this has happened to players that they've thought they've been here for 4 years or 5 years or whatever. Turns out their number is 0 or 1. And it's very detrimental to the future of those players unless they're given proper guidance. And I don't think some players have been given proper guidance. So once again, to all of you players who are playing for an NCR team that doesn't play any USA Rugby teams and so doesn't pay those extra dues, ask about whether those dues are paid. And then find out how can you be a member of USA Rugby, because the World Rugby rules they state specifically, they're measuring you based on you being in consecutive years playing for your registered national governing body. And if you're only NCR, you're not registered with the governing body. Yeah. So that is a problem. I'm just holding it. This is not like a secret thing that it's all about ICC at all, in fact. But there are players here that I think ran into that. And I also think there are other players that, they just don't have the time logged, or they're going to be a foreigner spot for a couple of years. So an MLR team gives up a foreigner spot to a young, unproven player. Okay, it means they have to get him a visa. So they've got to do the visa and give up a foreigner spot. What do they get out of it? So are they willing to do that? So let's look at what I've got as some of the top centers available. Philani Simamani, terrific player. Small, pocket rocket guy, very elusive, non-resident status. Joe Aye, Wheeling. Love him. Great leader. Any team would be lucky to have him, really. Just such a great attitude. Very smart guy. Foreigner status. Dayan Joyce, very, very good. Not, in my opinion, quite big enough. I think maybe if he's signed, move him to wing. I think he's got the time. He'll need a visa for a year, I think. Very exciting player. Little bit small for center. Ethan Moxley, same deal. A little bit small for center. Kind of fun player, but a little bit small. Couple of ones that I think really sort of worth a look. Austin Bascom, new to rugby, but he's a really good athlete, and sort of MLR is looking for crossover athletes too. He's one who's got a little bit of rugby experience. Would be kind of fun to have him. And Evan Corbett, who I think, there was some concern that maybe he wasn't completely bought into things. He was not available for the USA Under-23 tour. That's not great for him. But he was named to an All-American team. He was a star for Mount St. Mary's. Goal kicker, line breaker, good defender, good distributor. Can be a 10 in an option, but a second 5. He played inside center. Worked very well with his teammates. Really talented. From South Africa, has the time, has the inclination to do what's required, and would probably be worth the effort for a team. Also brought to you by Irish Rugby Tours. Touring is a great way to expose your players to the global nature of rugby. Go to Irish Rugby Tours. They don't just do Ireland. They do all kinds of different countries. Spain, Portugal, New Zealand, South Africa, the UK. That's just a smattering of what they can do for you. Go to irishrugbytours.com. So now we wrap it up with the final two positions. And we've got wing and fullback. And I'm not combining them. Generally, some players combine them. I combine them a lot of times, but in this case, I think they're separated out. We talked about Aidan Smith, the scrum half. Yes, a great option for somebody who wants versatility, right? You sign a guy and you say, well, look, here we go. If he's just a wing, he's just a wing, right? A wing / fullback, great. A wing scrum half, that's a nice combination. Jackson Short out of San Diego, 5-year starter for San Diego, All-American in D1AA, a really good player, got potential, absolutely has potential, somebody to watch. Obviously, the guy on top is Oscar Tracy, Rudy Schultz Award winner. He ticks so many of the boxes. Born in the United States, learned his rugby in Australia, born in the United States, and that's important there. So he's solid on residency, 6'3", great in the air, strong tackler, scores tries in a number of ways, through people, around people, distributing, chasing down kicks, very alert to how different opportunities present themselves, scored a ton of clutch tries for Central Washington. Maybe his future is as an Eagle on the Sevens team. He toured with the Falcons Sevens team, and I thought he was very good there. I don't know. We'll see. But I think, you don't get a lot of wings. You say, although Connor Mooneyham and Eric Naposki were both number one picks as wings. Mooneyham was a wing center. Naposki, sort of a wing fullback. Tracy could go number one, could go number 3, 5. He'll be up there. I really do think that. And he's worth it. At fullback, we talked about Brunello already. I think he would be very good at fullback. So you've got a 10-15 kind of guy there. His counterattack is very solid. Josh Cox out of UCLA. Sort of a run first guy. He can kick. And he's got this very accurate kicking from the hand. But most of the time I think he chooses to run. He backs himself on that. That's fine. Counterattacking is hugely important for a fullback, and he's very good at it. Philemon Manu, AIC, I should actually put him in a wing. He lists himself as a fullback. And what's funny is that everybody who also lists the backup position, he listed as his backup position, fullback. I think he's a wing. He doesn't kick a lot. Very elusive. Fun to watch. I think he's a wing. And then we come down to two guys really interesting to talk about. One would be Lockie McDonald out of Walsh University. He's got his time, 5 years. And this is interesting about him. He decided that he was not going to be not quite gray area kind of guy. So he moved to the United States. He stayed in the United States. He didn't travel. He didn't go away for a long time. He stayed in the USA. He's been playing a lot with Chicago. I think they were impressed with him. He was on their training squad. He's a very good kicker, can kick for goal, kick from hand, excellent well. Trash talk, good trash talker. But ability to play 15 and 10 and 12. Big, strong guy, a good reader of the game. So I think Lockie McDonald might go to someone, and I would love to see them just sort of be patient with him a little bit. Don't expect him to immediately just take control of everything, but that's what he wants to do. I think he's very good. The other one that I think is interesting, and I'm going to finish on this, I guess, would be Dom Holmes. IUP, MVP of the championship. One of the best players in Division II, possibly the best player in Division II. A wing, center, fullback, goal kicker, point scorer, try scorer. It's tough to be a Division II player and succeed at the professional level. If we had a system, kind of like a minor league system, and it's sort of being developed, but it's not super formal, right? Let's look back many, many years, 20, 25 years. 25 years ago, I was saying we should have a minor league system in the old USA Rugby Super League. People didn't like it. They didn't like it because they didn't like being told that they were a minor league team. Okay, fine. But Dom Holmes can show up and play for 10 minutes and do some good things on a professional team, and they say, oh, wow, he's good. But it's different when you're playing 80 minutes, week after week, making these decisions and showing little weaknesses that people start to exploit. And he just hasn't played consistently against that competition, nor has he played those number of games. That's the talk about D1A. It's not just that you play one game against a team and win or lose. You could match up a team from another division, whether it's NCR D1 or D1AA, and they could beat a D1A team. But could they then go and play another game a week later and beat that team? And could they then go and play a third week in a row And how would they do? Whether it's depth or it's physical strength or it's mental fitness, all of those things come into play. And that's been the situation between the difference between D1A and the other divisions. And it's definitely the difference between MLR and college rugby. Go play an MLR game. If we took a guy and put him in there, we took the American Universities team, plonked them in to play against an MLR team, it would be the toughest game they'd ever played. And then you say, well, do it again next week. Do it again the week after that. That's what's tough. And that's what we're asking these players to do. And I'm not really picking, I'm trying not to pick on Dom Holmes. I think he's a great player. He needs time. He also, the size of the athlete does matter. And there was a player that I really rated last year. And I think he's an excellent player. I really like him. I thought he was big. Because he wasn't in D1A. And then he was at an assembly with D1A players. I was like, whoa, it's actually not that big. Certainly the case with Dom Holmes. I think Holmes, when you look at it, say, wow, looks a little small. I mean, it's just a case of going from one of the bigger backs in Division 2 and one of the guys who can impose your will physically to a place where you can't. That's the situation that Division 2 players are in. So they have to be realistic. They have to be open to learning and changing, work on their S&C, listen to their coaches, work on the things they're not great at. Don't just say, hey, I do these things well. It is tough, and it requires some sacrifice. It requires you to say, I'm going to dedicate myself 1 or 2 years maybe before I get a look, and not look around and say, well, how am I paying the bills here? You've got to find a way to do that as well. So it's difficult. It is very difficult. I want to thank you for watching on this. Remember, we have the draft show, the official draft show. That they've actually decided to put me on it. So ESPNU and ESPN Plus, 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, August 21st. Watch that. I'll be on there along with the rest of the team, Corbicero, Fitzgerald, and Hooley. We'll have a good time. We'll be talking live about that first round. But good luck to everybody. Remember, if you're not drafted and you're an undrafted free agent, that just gives you options to choose where you want to live and how you want to break into the team. There's still options to do that. Remember, as we talked about in our first episode, the player who's played the most minutes, who's gone through the draft process, the player played the most minutes, played 0 his first year, and that was Christian Dyer. There have been players who were undrafted who have become regular players. And there are players who are now becoming established professionals. Let's not talk about the national team. Although a lot of these players want to be on the national team, but they're established professionals. So it can happen. But you know what? It takes a shit ton of work.